Hey Gator fans, I hope you guys are all hunkered down and safe from this hurricane, that you've taken all the precautions necessary. We have in our home, and so now we had some time. We figured we would hop on, give you guys a little video here. So something real happened on the way home from the Gator game when we were driving home. This is Eric Wilbur, by the way, national champion punter, also happens to live in this house with me. Anyway, we were driving home, just happens to. We've been married for 14 years at this point. Driving home from Saturday's game. We hop in the car, turn on the press conference, listen to what Coach Napier has to say. It was a good win against UCF. But as soon as the clip I'm about to play you started playing, the person next to me had a pretty strong reaction to it. So I'm going to let you listen to the clip first, and then we're going to talk about it. So here you go.
How much did you feel like the bye week's competitiveness maybe sharpened play along the lines of scrimmage? I mean, you guys had 5 sacks, but also you didn't allow any either tonight, which was significant.
No, I just think every part of our team got better because of the intensity of practice, just to be very blunt. I mean, it was competitive, right? And I think it needed to be. It's a different approach to an open date, unlike any approach we've ever taken in the past. I'm not sure I won't do it any different in the future, you know. And look, we took some of those same parameters and applied it to Tuesday, Wednesday, in the good-on-good sessions, and that was very competitive. So this is a developmental game. It is a habit-building practice environment game, and I think ultimately we've learned a lot, and I'm thankful for our staff and our players.
Okay, so that is just a clip from Saturday night's press conference. But Eric, when we were driving home, you had a really, really strong reaction to that particular quote. Why?
Basically, no shit. You practice competitive and you play competitive. That's how it should be. Competition brings out the best in everyone. You should have been taught that if you're playing sports at any level through your entire life. You go harder. So an example that I just happened this past week, I was at a high school football practice and they were running conditioning, and coach has them line up and they say go, and the kids are running back and forth. And then after, so many, the coach says, all right, the winner of this sprint is done for the day on conditioning. You wouldn't believe how much faster those kids could run as soon as it was competitive, right? So that's how it needs to be all the time. That's what's going to bring out the best in your players. That's how they're going to know what level to train at and to go at in the games, is being competitive all the time. And that's what I loved. When we talk, I bring it back to when I was playing. Everything was a win or lose competition with Meyer. Every single thing, but that pushed you so much harder. So it translates over to the game.
But is there ever a period in time where, I understand summers are super competitive, spring is competitive, but is there ever a time in the fall where you're kind of like, okay, these are my ones, these are my twos, I am going to try and prevent injury, and so we're not going to necessarily have good on good because we want to save that for game day? Is that ever a line of thinking for coaches?
I think coaches do think that way. I don't think they should. I think you go slow during install, you go slow during walkthrough, you go slower during thud up. But when you're out doing live reps, they are live reps. They are game ready practice full 100% reps. And that needs to be pushed on the coaches. It needs to be pushed on the scout team. The scout team needs to be going their absolute hardest to make sure that the starters are going their absolute hardest. It should always be competitive.
One of the positions that Florida has really had a lot of rotation at is offensive line. If you look at the numbers from, probably 8 to 10 guys, they all had pretty similar numbers going into this game, number of snaps that they take per game. And Coach Napier has said that was him kind of trying to find his 5. And then we saw this past week, there were 5 guys who had a lot more reps than everybody else. If they were going good on good during practice leading up to each game, the first 4 games, do you think they would have maybe found those 5 faster?
Yeah, I think you find your 5 faster. And I think that by making it the competition, if you're not one of those 5, but you let them know, hey, if you're going hard in practice and you're beating our top guy, you then become that 5. Right? The second string should always be striving to beat the first string. right? So that's where it should be. And yeah, you should have your top 5, but they should know someone's gunning for my spot. Someone's trying to take my spot every day that we're out at practice, and I need to be earning that spot.
Is there any downside that you can think of as to why coaches wouldn't run good on good?
The injury aspect is going to be the biggest thing. You do have to be aware of that, but you can't. It's like getting too defensive in a game after you're up or something like that. You can't do that. You got to coach, and like Saban always said, next guy up, right? If injuries happen, injuries are going to happen. Next guy up. Would you rather have your best guys be their best, or would you rather just kind of have everyone be mediocre and saying, hey, we prevented injuries?
Now, I know mainly because I live with you, but that you've been pretty critical of play, not only this season, but the last couple. And I feel like every time I talk to anybody that played with you on those 06 or those 08 teams, they kind of have the same mentality. And it's basically because they want the standard to be higher. They know the standard is higher. But I know you were pretty pleased at what you saw Saturday versus what, we've seen the rest of the season. What are some areas of maybe growth or change that you noticed?
I saw some excitement, right? You saw guys wanting to be out there, wanting to play football. The energy, the effort level was better. I think it can be better than what it was. I think you saw more guys going harder, but there's still the 1 or 2 that are kind of slacking on the field. And those 1 or 2 are going to be the ones that are going to lose us games. So it's got to be every man going as hard as they can, not most of them going as hard as we can. But it is getting better. My biggest frustration is, why is it taking so long? Right? These are things that, if you see it and you see it's a problem, go fix it. Don't take 3 years to fix it. Take a week to fix it. That's what it needs to happen. We don't expect perfection, but we expect quick changes to happen when they need to happen.
Florida starts, the meat of the schedule, so to speak, the gauntlet on Saturday. They go to Knoxville, they take on Tennessee, they come home and they play Kentucky. Then they've got to go play Georgia, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, and then Florida State. What are some realistic things the Gators can do now to give themselves a chance in some of these big games? I think they should be in the Kentucky game. They should be in the Florida State game. They have the ability potentially to be in that LSU and maybe even that Ole Miss game, depending on, how we play. I think Texas and Georgia obviously are kind of in a league of their own right now. Tennessee, maybe Arkansas opened the door, or maybe we're about to have the door slammed shut in our face because they're so angry about that Arkansas game. But what are some things that Florida can realistically adjust now to potentially win some of these down the road?
I'm not too knowledgeable on their X's and O's right now. So as far as like their play calling and stuff like that, I will say, stop throwing the ball behind the sticks on 3rd down, right? That is one of my biggest things. Yeah, every once in a while when it's necessary, but you got to give your guys a chance to get that 1st down. I see too many times on 3rd down, 3rd and mid, 3rd and long, we're throwing it behind the sticks and trying to let someone go make a play instead of getting your receivers to the sticks and get the 1st down that way. That's one of my biggest things. Let your players go make plays. Good. Let me see some jump balls. We got good receivers out there. Go throw the ball up. Let them go make some plays. Just make sure that they know if you can't get the ball, you're now a defender. Make sure they don't get the ball, right? The effort part, we need all the guys firing on the effort front. And I think that can happen, but that has to be pointed out from the coach's standpoint. The players aren't going to do that themselves. So that's the biggest thing there. Let's take some shots. Let's see full out effort on every person on the field.
All right, guys. Hopefully, maybe the Gators will apply some of these suggestions to the Tennessee game plan. We shall see. Lots more content coming your way. I am going live to give a little pregame breakdown of the Tennessee game later on tonight. I hope everybody is staying safe from this hurricane. Please take it seriously. If your local officials tell you to evacuate, do it. In all kinds of weather, go Gators.
Go Gators.